everybody, and welcome back to some more Stoneopolis. As you can see right behind me, I have moved the blood altar out from the other room because we need to make this thing bigger. Because today, we need to make ourselves a tier 5 blood altar. At the very least, tier 4. Just because like tier 5 could come with shenanigans, but I see us being able to get all of that today. And if we're lucky, we may even be able to get to the end of this video, because that's what we need that thing for. We need the tier 5 blood altar to be able to actually make ourselves the portal to the end, as evident from last video, but that is for later. For right now though, I've already upgraded it from our tier 2 to tier 3, and I've laid out all of the runes that we're going to need. We're just going to need 2 ingredients left that are going to come from 2 separate dimensions, and we need to get to both of those. The first thing that we're going to need before that though is actually going to be a way to make sure that the altar is actually upgrading, and also to see how much blood I have in my network to be able to go to these other dimensions. That is where this is going to come in. All we're going to need is we're just going to need to put down a little blood magic circle with redstone and a blank slate, and watch as it becomes oh so shrinked. Actually, does this one shrink? I think it shrinks. Yeah, it shrinks. Look at it shrink. Goodbye and hello, because now we got ourselves the divination sigil. With this thing, we can go ahead and right click, and we can see how much essence we have in our network. That's how much essence we've absorbed into a blood orb of any kind. I have acquired a magician's blood orb in between episodes, which is the tier 3 one, which, wait, actually, doesn't that mean that this isn't? Yeah, wait, no, that's 7. Okay, so the tier 3 works. We just hover over it, and then you can see it right underneath my head. You can kind of see it beneath my horny dealy there, that it is indeed a tier 3. So the blocks that we're going to need to be able to upgrade this altar to tier 4 and 5 is going to be bloodstone bricks and hellforged blocks. To get those, we're going to need a hellforged ingot, which we're going to be able to get from the ores in the final dimension. For the bloodstone brick though, we need to get ourselves a weakened blood shard from saturated tau, which we can get from normal tau. To do that, we need to go to our first dimension, which is in fact that one right down there, the edge of the hidden realm. If we go over into our book and then find ourselves the rituals, we can go to the list of rituals, find the ones at the very back that I've already observed. The edge of the hidden realm right here is going to take a total of 36 of these runes, technically 40 because we need 4 for the master ritual stone. What am I talking about? We're going to need these things right here called ritual stones, which are going to get converted into those runes. And then we need the 1 master ritual stone at the center of it all. So we got all that. So we just need to go ahead and then make ourselves 40 of these ritual stones, which means we're just going to need a bunch of these reinforced slates, which I already have 4 of. We just need to get the rest of those going. And that's actually where I've got this little pseudo automation set up here, where if I go ahead and then grab myself about 36 of these guys, and then we just go ahead and put these into this drawer, it is then going to utilize a pusher upgrade to push it all into here. And then once they reach the reinforced slate, it'll then get pulled out into this drawer. I just need to make sure that I have a constant amount of life essence in this, because it's gonna take a lot. And it's going to be very annoying to deal with. I do have some runes of self-sacrifice at the moment though, so that's fine. And yeah, that is another thing you'll notice, is that all of these runes are blank. That is because I did not want to deal with getting everything else. I just wanted to focus on putting the runes down. And if we need to upgrade them for any sort of reason, I will do that off screen. Alrighty, I should have everything for this now. So now we can go ahead and then make ourselves all of our runes for the moment. There will be more down the road, but this should be fine. So after that, we can just go ahead and then make ourselves our master ritual stone. So now we just need to go ahead and then find a place for this ritual. And I think there would be no better place than in here where I used to put anything else. So Let's go ahead, plop that there, make sure nothing else is impeded. Gonna need to get rid of this green colored logs though, but that's fine. So we can go ahead and then place down our master ritual stone right there. I don't really need to worry about the rest of these things because it should be fine now. And then we just go ahead and right click it. And it'll take all of the runes from my inventory, set them up properly, and it should be ready. Yeah, no, it's correct. It's just that it had the red ones be over here and then the blue ones be here. It was, yeah, that was weird. Okay, but now the portal frame is ready. We just need one last thing for us to do this, and that's gonna be this weak activation crystal, which is gonna take a full blood altar, but we're also going to need to get ourselves this baby right here, which is called a lava crystal. And there we go. Now we got ourselves our lava crystal. And we also got to keep the buckets. I did not expect that. So now we just need to go ahead and throw this baby in here. I've had this one locked, so this shouldn't get pulled out. And there we go. Now we have ourselves the weak activation crystal. To use this, we need to just shift right click this on the master ritual stone. However, if we look into our thing right here, it says the activation cost is 80,000 LP. This is because I need to have 80,000 life points in my network, which appears to I have misplaced. There it is. Okay, so if we go ahead and right click this thing, we have 2,000. So we have nowhere near enough. So what that's gonna then mean is I'm going to need to go ahead, configure this to me by right clicking it, and then slap this baby in here. And that is going to start absorbing all of the life points. So now I need to just keep that thing full until we get to our 80,000 cap.
Later.
Okay, I should have enough life points now. I've minimized my inventory just in case I die, because there is a significant chance of death. So let's go ahead, shift right click this, and wait for the results. There's normal right click it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I just had to normal right click it. Okay. Okay, that's the same. Okay, so now we have ourselves the inversion pillar, or sorry, block.bloodmagic.inversion_pillar. Sorry, we got the name wrong, but for sure, we'll just call it the inversion pillar, just to give you a little nickname. So all we gotta do is right click this baby, and here we are. Oh my gosh, it is beautiful. Okay, so in here we got a chest. We only got one key. Oh no, we're gonna have to get very lucky. So remember, what I need is Tau. I really just need one, but with just the one key, I'm gonna have to really pray to God on this one, because this can go horribly wrong. So we have this key right here, which normally to make that, it's a whole process of things, of getting these things called a Tartaric gem, and it's just a whole thing we don't want to do. So we're gonna have to get lucky with this. Okay, I'm gonna trust where I was pointing. I'm gonna trust in God. God be with me, please. Please. Tau! Yes! Oh! Dude, oh my gosh, I got so lightheaded from the breathing. Oh my gosh, dude. We've also got a lot of other stuff in here too. And incidentally, ores. You didn't think ores were possible in this game, but apparently it is. So now that we got the Tau, we can go ahead and then carve out some farmland right over here, and then go ahead and then plant this all right here, which will allow it to grow. But by standing over it after a random amount of time, this should take my blood, and it should saturate.
Eventually.
Alrighty, we got ourselves saturated Tau right here. And this is actually what the normal Tau looks like when it's grown. So, that's fun. So, ooh, I actually can't right-click that. Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, I should only need this much. Actually, probably even less than that, because, yeah, we just need one of these blood shards, and we get that from one Tau, so that's fine. So now we're actually gonna need a few things. This is where I get into the bad news. So For us to be able to use this, we need this machine right here called the Alchemical Reaction Chamber, or the ARC. It's not complicated to get. We're just going to need 2 imbued slates, which is the 3rd tier of slate, which should be fine, and also one of our orbs. So we can go ahead and make our ARC now. That is good. But what we need to actually use this thing is a bit more complicated. And also this thing, no, it doesn't need power. Okay, never mind. But we are going to need this thing here called the Sanguine Reverter in order to actually get this into our weak blood shard. The Sanguine Reverter is going to take the Tartaric gem that I was talking about before. First, we need the Hellfire Forge. All right, so for us to make the forge, we just need some stone, a bunch of iron, and our blank slate. Very easy for me to get. And there it is, the Hellfire Forge. So for us to be able to use this thing, we're going to need a sort of willpower. And that is going to be this glowing thing right here called Demon Will. How do we get that? Well, we're going to need to go ahead and then make ourselves a buttload of string. Now, do I make string? I know I can make string with this hemp. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we got ourselves a buttload of this string. Then what we can go ahead and do is we can just take this string right over here to our blood altar and infuse blood into it. And that should get us, there is the soul snare. With our soul snare, we need to find a certain type of mob. Any mob will really do. We just need to go ahead and summon it. So do I have enough iron for some more pig iron? I do. So now we got our piggy, and then we throw the soul snare at it. And now it's got an effect, which when we kill it, we then get ourselves the demon will. And this one has a will of 4. That's actually pretty good. So now with this will, we can go ahead and make ourselves a petty Tartaric gem. So now with all those put into our Hellfire Forge, we go ahead and stick our will source of any kind right into here, and then we get ourselves our petty Tartaric gem. That is good. We are going to need 2 of these though, because with another Tartaric gem, we'll be able to make the soul snare function completely obsolete. So now we've got ourselves our second Tartaric gem, which one of these just takes 1 will to make. So it's pretty easy. So now with our second Tartaric gem, we need to make ourselves something called the Sentient Sword. It should just take an iron sword, which actually, now that I think about it, I might have had one of those over here in the other dimension, because I saw there was a bunch of iron tools. There's a bunch of iron nuggets too. I can go ahead and take those. I actually only ended up with enough after getting those nuggets, so that kind of worked itself out in the end. So now we go ahead and just mix our sword with one of our Tartaric gems, and then with all that together, we then get ourselves the Sentient Sword. So now that should be good. That actually didn't absorb any will, which is good. And now we can go ahead and actually throw that will down and absorb it into our Tartaric gem. So what does this Sentient Sword do? Well, as I said before, it makes the soul snares obsolete, because this thing will give us the effect after killing the mob, and thus it'll always drop some will. Here's now what we need to do. We need to take this petty Tartaric gem and upgrade it to a lesser Tartaric gem, and then after that to a common Tartaric gem. The common is the minimum that we can use to be able to make the Sanguine Reverter, and we need these things to all be maxed out at their will when we make them. So I need to go ahead and upgrade these, get all of the items. I'll do all of that off screen, and then we can go ahead and make ourselves the reverter and upgrade our altar to tier 4.
Much later.
Alrighty, I got the Tartaric gem. It actually didn't take me very long. Pro tip for this mod pack exclusively, if any of you decide to play it, use the skeleton recipe. because skeletons just take bone meal, and then skeletons drop bones, which can give you 3 bone meal. So skeletons are definitely the way to go for speed on this and consistency with the recipe of items. So now we should just need to go ahead and throw all of this into here and have it not work. This should be more than enough. There we go. Okay, well, that took a lot more than I expected. That was not the amount that I had before. Okay. So what I am drawing from this is that certain things require me to have a certain amount of will, but that's not necessarily the amount of will it's going to take. Why it works like that, I couldn't tell you. Okay, but now we have ourselves our ARC properly functional. So now we just need to go ahead and throw our tau right into here. Is it the other way around? Ah, it was the other way around. The thing goes here and then the item goes up there. Okay, but there we go. Now we got ourselves our weak blood shard, which we can go ahead and combine with some stone. Okay, clearly needs to be a normal stone. Does the colored stone? Well, this is normal stone, so that'll work even better. So we go ahead and put that there, and we get ourselves some large bloodstone bricks. We can actually go ahead and pick between the bloodstone brick and the other one, and that should be good. Now with these things ready, I remember correctly, we need to go ahead and put that one up there and then get another stone brick right there. Why I didn't place these stone bricks before was simply I could not reach. That's pretty much as simple as it is. I just couldn't reach, so I decided to just wait until we got these things because I knew they were going to touch the roof. So I figured, you know, might as well do it like this. So now we should have ourselves a tier 4. So if we go ahead and look up there, yep, there we go, right above my little horny dealy, we are at tier 4. With all of that ready, we now need to venture to the next dimension in order for us to get the Hellforged blocks that we need. And it's actually going to be an extension off of this dimension, where we're going to need to go to a place called the Endless Realm. So for us to get there, we need to upgrade our Ritual Diviner, which I realized I actually never went over. It actually wasn't that hard to get. We just needed this little recipe right here with a bunch of these things. Just took obsidian, magma cream, gas tier, and lapis block. All things I had. So it's like, really was not that complex for me to be able to get. And as for this upgraded one, the Ritual Diviner Dusk, we're going to need this new inscription tool, which will just take a block of coal, which is way easier than it should be for me to get. So this one's just going to be these guys with 2,000 life points. So that's going to be a total of 4,000. That should be okay. Yeah, that should be more than enough right there. So we can go ahead and just slap these guys into there, and that should be ready. Then the rest of this is going to take a demonic slate, which this is where this is going to be fun. One of these demonic slates is going to take 15,000 millibuckets of life points, or 15 buckets, which means 2 of them is going to take 30. So I'm going to need to fill this baby up 3 times to get the slates that I am going to need for this. Alrighty, I've gathered up everything, so now we can go ahead and make ourselves a Ritual Diviner Dusk. And I've also gathered up all the ritual stones I need and placed the new spot for the pathway to the Endless Realm. So we just need to go ahead, place that one there, and then navigate over to the Endless Realm. Pathway to the Endless Realm, there we go. And then we just click it. And everything should be laid out properly. We should just need to wait for it all to go in. And yeah, it is all placing down. It's just not placing down in the order of this little block thing right here. So we can just go ahead and get rid of that. And that should be good. I believe it is done. There we go. The pathway to the Endless Realm is almost complete. All we now need to do is pump in 150,000 life points. So here's the thing. The pathway to the Endless Realm, it's endless. those keys that we had in the hidden realm, those keyholes, you would only have 4 of those. But in the endless realm, you get rooms that also have more keyholes for you to then use more keys. So this could end up taking a very long time, and we have unfortunately run a lot of time. So I'm gonna wait until next video to be able to go into the endless realm. I'm gonna stock up on my life points. I'm gonna get a bunch of other stuff done so that way we can kind of prepare for this, because this dimension is full of a lot of dangers. And once that is then done, in the next video we should also be able to go to the end, because the whole thing's not gonna just be me rummaging through this whole place. Like, that's not gonna happen. But the end is definitely going to come in the next video. So did you like this video? Good. And be sure to check out our last Stoneopolis video where we got into the extreme crafting for the rainbow core. Bye bye.